I mean, I also like get creative in my own ways. Like, I'm a big jewelry person, and I mean, I'm not wearing a necklace right now, but like, in all of my necklaces, I bought these little Amazon magnets and like put them on there so that way I can like do it myself because I can't really like, clip it on the back like when it's
Mm-hmm.
in like a regular way, we were asked to really create a solution for like in the fashion industry that wasn't really like created yet. So
Mm-hmm.
me and my group, we chose like people who have sensory processing disorders, and like
Okay.
with that, yeah, with that, like the clothing like has to have a type of material that doesn't really bother like your senses, like I don't know if I'm saying that right, but once I was diagnosed, like it just became so much more difficult, and my walking was getting worse, my dancing was too. I had to quit dance a year afterwards, but I was still walking like in school and stuff like that. Definitely had a big impact on me, like emotionally, I want to say. I was like, oh god, like I can't dance anymore. Like, what do I do now? Like, I mean, I've always been taught, especially from my mom, who is, one of my best friends, and she told me, it's not like their treatment is not a reflection of who you are. And I really believe that, and that's helped me get through so much.
You confronted a person and they said that they felt more like a caregiver to you than a friend. So how much of a blah moment was that for you?
That was really tough on me. I still remember that day like vividly in that whole conversation. Sometimes I replay it, which is not good, but
Hmm.
you know, someone that I thought was one of my best friends, told me she felt like a caretaker, and that that was, yeah, just very dull.
Do you ever feel like you're annoying to people asking for help?
Yeah, actually a lot. That's something that I need to work on. Because that's the reason why I don't really like to ask for help. I like to do things on my own. And even if someone sees me struggling, whether it's maybe someone at work or maybe one of my roommates from college, like I would just be like, oh no, like I got it, don't worry. Like it may take me a little bit longer to do stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather do it on my own than.
Hello, welcome to my podcast, Two Mics, One Joe Suits. I am Joe Suits. I'll be giving my to Adriana. She is a model and a Friedrich Ataxia advocate. Her nerves are diminishing over time, but not her spirit. I know you have a planner that you use every day to write down your goals. What goal do you have today that you wish to accomplish?
My goals for today, I mean, my goal, I take it day by day, I feel like, and my goal for today is just to be happy, have a good day. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's see. Since we are talking about accomplishment, you are a fashion designer and now a runway model. We both went to the same marriage college, but in different years. How was the approach of making accessible clothing to your peers and teachers since accessible clothing is so hot right now?
So, I'm sorry, you mean like accessibility, like in the buildings and dorms and stuff?
No, I'm talking about more like clothing because clothing
Oh,
accessibility has
alright.
changed a lot in like the past 5 years.
Alright, yeah, you could edit that part out. But Um, so I I mean I definitely think like when I that summer that I interned for Runway of Dreams, I believe it was summer of 2021. I was learning about like adaptive clothing and stuff, and I didn't realize how many like options were actually out there because I don't really have a lot of adaptive clothing. I do have adaptive footwear. Like I have the Billy footwear shoes from Zappos. I'm actually wearing them right now. And they're perfect because I use the zippers and it's hard for me to tie my shoelaces. I mean, I also like get creative in my own ways. Like, I'm a big jewelry person, and I mean, I'm not wearing a necklace right now, but like, in all of my necklaces, I bought these little Amazon magnets and like put them on there so that way I can like do it myself because I can't really like clip it on the back like when it's
Hmm.
in like a regular way, Like the adaptive clothing, I feel like could be like better when you make it more known to people because
Hmm.
I'm like part of the disabled community and like I didn't even know a lot of that stuff.
So let's talk about you. So I say that you're a designer, that put a you helped put on the show for the Paris College, and you're also a model for it. But when you approach the teachers to help you, when you approach the teachers to like, hey, I want to design accessible clothing, like what were the teachers' response to you?
Well, I'm actually not a designer. I went to school for fashion merchandising. And I was asked to model. I didn't really have the idea to like bring accessible clothing like to Maris. That was someone else.
Oh, because I saw on your website that you had like a fashion clothing thing that you done, like a presentation and everything. So what was that? Maybe
Wait,
was that not you
when
then?
was it? Date.
It was on your website. It was like some spring. Let me see if I can bring that up.
Okay.
It was the design by you, your portfolio.
Oh, my
Most successful
portfolio.
work.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it the Stay Cozy, like the senior capping? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Okay,
No?
okay, sorry. Oh my god. Okay, I got you now. So for my senior capping project, we were asked to really create a solution for like in the fashion industry that wasn't really like created yet. So
Mm-hmm.
me and my group, we chose like people who have sensory processing disorders, and like
Okay.
with that, like the clothing like has to have a type of material that doesn't really bother like your senses. Like I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah. So like when I brought that up to my professor, she thought it was a really great idea. It was really fun, like just diving into all that too.
Yeah, I have here you called one of the designers called Home It by the Hudson, and you have all these colors.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, it's impressive to design something and put all this work with your CAD design. I kudos to you or whoever did it because I tried to do it for myself and it was just so much work and I don't even want to do it.
That was all me, but um, yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
impressive.
have my portfolio on my website. Really shows like Most of it is from when I did in college, but I also uploaded some things that like I've recently done like out of college too. So I like to be like creative in that aspect. Yeah, I don't call it fashion design because I think of like sewing and stuff. But I
Hmm.
do like to design, like I'm creative in that way.
Yeah, I guess the word, I mean, to you, I think the wording is different than what I think of it, but yeah, it's cool that you went and designed things because that's really hard to do and also hard to break in. Like the past, like, I don't know if it's just me, really, because I'm just more immersed in the disability world, but like disabled clothing is becoming, I wouldn't really say mainstream, but becoming more popular. There's a lot of individual people
Hmm.
like actively trying to like create their own brand and create their own like accessible clothing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but it's really popular in the UK for some reason.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's just my luck. But yeah, it's cool that people are pushing the boundaries. So like, let's talk about you. So like, the big accessible clothing is like people in wheelchairs. So do you use any accessible clothing for yourself, or you just buy everything like on Amazon and
Yeah.
wherever else you buy things?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really use a lot of accessible clothing myself because I do have a lot of like, yeah, I feel like a lot of like, I don't know how you'd say, but hand like motor skills. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, but I do use adaptive footwear. I use the Billy
Mm-hmm.
footwear shoes from Zappos. This is really hard for me to tie my shoes. And I I mean, do you also want me to like say again like the whole jewelry thing?
Oh no,
Oh,
that's okay. We'll just move on.
okay.
Yeah, it's just yeah, the clothing's a bit thing because it's like I find a lot of disability clothing really ugly too.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's that you have to wear things that are easy to get on, so like sweatpants and stuff, and that's not attractive at all. Or
Yeah.
sometimes you have to wear clothes bigger
Like
than who you are, and that's not attractive either. So, it's really difficult to make clothing, and it's also a lot of companies that don't care because we're kind of a small demographic, and it's like why? Oh, people are just gonna buy the regular stuff anyway. So like, why should we create a product for like for one person? So it's really difficult. Yeah. So like, so I know you got an intern fashion. So like, what are you gonna do with what do you do during your internship then? Like, are you a designer? Because I think you're also a seller, right? Is that right?
no, right now I'm working in sales at Loft while I am a retail leadership intern. So I'm basically like learning what the managers do and like also like in the back, not just on the floor but like in the back office. So like it
Mm-hmm.
has a lot to do with like business and like numbers and stuff. um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it's really
So that's
cool. I just take things like day by day. I mean, this internship, it's almost over, but it's really made me see that like I do want a leadership role in the future. In terms of like where I'm still a little bit not sure of that, but I'll figure it out.
yeah. Let's do it. So I have here you wanted to be a professional dancer, but obviously things have changed since you were basically confined to a wheelchair since February of 2017. So how would your transition since your life had to change dramatically, physically, mentally, and your livelihood?
Well, if we backtrack, I started dancing when I was 3 and I stopped when I was 13 and I was diagnosed with Friedrich Ataxia at 12, which I started showing symptoms maybe like a year before. Started stumbling a
Mm-hmm.
lot, also like falling when I was dancing. Once I was diagnosed, like it just became so much more difficult and my walking was getting worse, my dancing was too. I had to quit dance a year afterwards. But I was still walking, like, in school and stuff like that. Definitely had a big impact on me, like, emotionally, I want to say. I was like, oh god, like, I can't dance anymore. Like, what do I do now? Like, but eventually I found art, which, like, I used to draw and paint a lot. I don't do that a lot now. I should get back into it again, but that's what led me to fashion in the first place. So I'm really glad for that. So emotionally, like, it was really tough on me, but I eventually like got the hang of it, and I don't think I got the hang of it until my college years. And physically, it's always been difficult for me. Sometimes it still is. Even emotionally, sometimes it still is. Like, I'm not gonna say everything's perfect all the time, but you just keep going, you live your life, keep rolling.
Yeah, so let's say you live by your 5 strong skill sets of includer, positivity, achiever, empathy, and restorative. You must have been hurt a lot growing up. It is safe to say your circle of friends have changed due to becoming more disabled.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Would you say your circle of friends have changed due to becoming more disabled?
Like, my friends have, if they made me more disabled.
Now, have your friends changed since you have become more disabled?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries.
So, I mean, some of my friends, I mean, most of my friends have not. There has been some friends in the past where, yes, they did change. I remember I had this one friend from high school, and, I started using a wheelchair full time at 16, so I was a junior in high school. And when I started doing that, like, things just changed between us. Like, and she wasn't really like, at the time it hurt, but now I know she wasn't really my friend in the first place if that happened. I like to think it's important to acknowledge the ones that have stayed with me and stick by me, like, throughout this whole journey.
Yeah, it's a huge transition to get diagnosed and then also live with a disease where your body is continually to get worse over time, man. Like, especially like college time is a time where like a lot of people are like finding themselves, like they're going totally different directions, and it is kind of a normal thing for people to just, I guess, disappear and go in different directions and find things. So like, how had that been treating? Like, was it a positive experience like in college and such, or did you have a lot of setbacks?
I mean, I had some setbacks in college too, I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could say it got better. I did go through some things in college with, like, past friends, even like in my freshman year, even in my senior year at college, I went through that. But I mean, I've always been taught, especially from my mom, who is, one of my best friends, and she told me, it's not like their treatment is not a reflection of who you are. And I really believe that, and that's helped me get through so much. Yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah, it is tough to you are like to talk about myself that feel like I am anchored to a lot of things that we can and we cannot do. Like everything, like I'm the lowest common denominator in terms of like, like we can't go hiking together because obviously we're in a chair and like that, that's off the table clearly. So yeah, I always think like I'm the low common denominator, but I also feel like I have to meet people that are okay with the lifestyle that I'm living with in terms of like lower expectations, so like I can't like hang out with like a rock climber because obviously that wouldn't make sense because like what am I gonna do? Nothing. So yeah, it's just hard to find those people
Mhm.
not only accepting your disability but also like you as a person too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I meet people that are okay with my disability but don't like me as a person, and then sometimes the other way around. Sometimes they like me but not my disability, so like they are not there either. So I'm always in the weird gray area of like
Yeah.
trying to find that community that I really fit into because I don't feel like I fit in anywhere. Like I'm in always like that one thing that stopped me from becoming someone's friend, and that's what's really frustrating about having a disability and also a disability that is constantly hurting us throughout our lifetime too.
It reminds me of a blog post I wrote. I think it was in like November or something, and it had to do with like friendships, and I wrote like doesn't isn't a friendship supposed to be based on who you actually are and not your abilities to do things? No. So,
It's funny you mention that because that's what we're gonna be talking about next because
oh,
the article you talk about is called going the extra mile. So you have it with friendship. So you had a situation where a friend stopped inviting you to and stuff. You confronted a person and they said that they felt more like a caregiver to you than a friend. So how much of a blah moment was that for you?
how much of I'm sorry, a what moment?
A blah moment. I know you like the word blah.
Oh, yeah, Bob. Thank you for that. Yeah, so that was really tough on me. I still remember that day, like, vividly, in that whole conversation. Sometimes I replay it, which is not good, but you know, someone that I thought was one of my best friends, told me she felt like a caretaker, and that, that was, yeah, just very blah. You know, I have worked so hard to be independent. I feel like, especially going away to college, dorming, living alone. I mean, I have roommates, but I wouldn't ask them to help me unless maybe I really needed, for someone to give me something on the kitchen counter. Like, I don't really know. Like, something silly like that. Like, I wouldn't ask for much. Wherever we went, whether it was restaurant, bar, I don't know. But she would be pushing me, or one of my other friends would be pushing me. And that's just something that all my friends really do. Like, they don't really mind, pushing me. I mean, what does it take? You're not pushing a boulder or something. It's just like a wheelchair. But so, being that she said that, and it was like about, going out and stuff like that. Cause yeah, I was stunned by it. I feel like sometimes I still am kind of, how could someone see it that way? Maybe just like, if you don't really know someone who's disabled, has a disability, you can't really relate in that way.
I understand where you're coming from too, but I think you can also be too mad at the friend too because some people just don't want to do extra work because the next person they don't have to push or do any extra thing. They just can be there to be friends and hang out. So like I can sometimes like as a disabled person I have to be realistic of myself too that I do require a little more help and a little more effort into it, and I understand that. And I do understand that people may not want to be involved in that just because sometimes you don't do that much for a friend. Like you have your good friend that might like wake up at 5 in the morning, like to go drive you to the airport. That's fine, but like I think like we can't be that mad at the friend either because they they did not want to be like a caregiver. Sometimes they just want to hang out with you, just to hang out with you and not do anything else. If that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I'm definitely not like mad at that. It just, like, I'm the type of person where, like, I would do anything for, like, my friends. Like, and especially if I was not disabled, I feel like if it was the other way around, I'd be, like, there, like, helping. And I also see it that way.
Yeah, it's frustrating as a disabled person. There's not much we can really do to help ourselves. Like you talk about yourself that you do try to remain independent as possible, and like yes, you only ask help, but like when you really do need help, it's a very frustrating situation because you don't want to be in it, and you also don't want to ask for help because like sometimes asking for help is almost your last. It's your last option too, and like do you ever feel like you're annoying to people asking for help?
Yeah, actually, a lot. That's something that I need to work on. Because that's the reason why I don't really like to ask for help. I like to do things on my own. And even if someone sees me struggling, whether it's maybe someone at work or maybe one of my roommates from college, like, I would just be like, oh no, like, I got it, don't worry. Like, it may take me a little bit longer to do stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather do it on my own than ask for help and feel like I'm bothering them or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really depends on the vibe you have with the person, but also you can just talk to the person too. Like, you can just be like, hey, I know I'm annoying. I know I ask for more things than like the regular person, but I think the big thing is just showing appreciation to the person. I think that will helps a lot, just so they know that they're doing good things and like you're thanking them too. Like sometimes I feel I don't know, I don't feel like obligated, but sometimes I feel like I should put more effort into that relationship of like I don't know, like I don't know, you buy them a dinner or something like that to be like, hey, I'm thanking you for you helping me. Like you don't have to, but like you want to, and I appreciate that side of you.
Yeah. I recently one of my college friends came to stay with me. Probably the best college friend that I made out of those 4 years, and she was helping me one weekend. I was having trouble with something, and I told her afterwards, like, thank you so much. Like, you have no idea how much I appreciate it. And her response was, of course, that's what friends are for. Like, and, that kind of like made me melt a little bit on the inside. Um, like, cause I wanted to say, like, not every friend feels like that. Like, So, those are the good ones. Those are the ones you have to appreciate. I agree.
Yeah, it's also frustrating also that you can't help them same way they're helping you. So it's always frustrating and it almost sometimes feels one-sided. I don't know if you ever felt like that.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I like I feel like if I need help with something like physically like pushing my wheelchair or bring my drink to the table because I can carry it. Stuff like that. Like, I can't do that for them, but I feel like sometimes, like, I do give back by, like, being there for them, like, emotionally. Listening to their problems, giving advice. I feel like that's the way I can kind of give back to that. If that makes sense?
Yeah, you did want to be a good friend to that person too, and the way you can only.
Yeah.
So before I take the mic away from you, is there anything you want to say? Any words of wisdom? The winning lottery numbers? The mic is all yours.
Words of wisdom. Let me think about it.
Yeah, sure. Take your time. I don't want to put you on the spot, but yeah.
Okay. What I want to say is, like, if you have a disability, or even if you don't, if you're just going through some sort of challenge, don't let it define you. Don't let it overtake you as a person, because you you're separate. Like, a disability is a very big Friedrich Ataxia is a very big part of my life. It makes up some of me, but that's like not all that who I am. And I just hope that people know that, like, they know. I Sorry, cut that out, but I just know. No.
I'm leaving all of this in, just letting you know.
I just hope that people know. I can't even finish my sentence. I just hope people know to not let things define them in any way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would do a lot of cutting this episode, but it's all good. It's all good. So thank you, Adriana, for giving me your time and expertise. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching, and I'll catch everyone next time.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thanks so much for having me.